Anyway, fans, the first topic I'm going to discuss today is news that more than 50 visual effects artists who have worked on Marvel Studios are voting to unionize. Obviously, they want better benefits, better working conditions. Because I can't blame them because you've heard stories lately about how visual effects people have like these quick turnarounds and they're like working like long, extremely hours, days to get these visual effects out. And I know Marvel Studios obviously has been the studio that's been putting out the most content. Because if you count the shows, plus movies, and let me say this isn't just Marvel Studios thing. I know the news is that it's more than 50 people from Marvel Studios when it comes to the visual effects of their movies. But this has been a problem for years with visual effects people. I mean, it's not just Marvel Studios. It's Warner Brothers. It's all the studios where you have like so many shows and movies that come out in a year now. It's gotten to the point where you can't have like it's gotten to the point where there's just so many projects now. Like Spider-Verse, that's a Sony movie. Look what happened there with Across the Spider-Verse, where a bunch of visual effects artists quit and become the animators. And from what you heard with the booking distance for that movie, it was extremely rough, and they had to really work hard to get it to that deadline. And I think it reached the point right now where between the actor strike and writer strike still going on, and from what I heard, that could lead to 2024 because it doesn't sound like it's ending anytime soon. The way the two sides are talking to each other, so I think this has been a problem when it comes to visual working too much when it comes to working conditions for years. So I can't fault them for voting to unionize to get the same protections that writers, actors, all these other people that work in the Hollywood. Like I get it, and I can't fault them because you hear the working conditions on some of these movies, these big studio movies. It doesn't sound great, and it just sucks to hear this because, like I said, between writers and actors strike, who knows when that's going to end? And it just seems like it's getting to a point now where you have like all these departments pretty much coming together to against the studios for the issues they've had with the working conditions, or the turnarounds, or getting better health benefits, or you know all this stuff. And it just sucks to hear this as a movie fan because, like I said, who knows when those two strikes are going to end? And this could like start. I mean, this could start something where you have visual effects, where you have all visual effects people going on strike, not just the people who worked at Marvel Studios. So this has definitely been a problem for years when it comes to visual effects, when it comes to work overload and the conditions. But like I said, it just sucks to hear this as a movie fan. The next thing that I want to discuss is one of the actors from Beyond the Spider-Verse was saying how it's going to be tough to live up to the previous two Spider-Verse movies. I actually love hearing this because I think this leads to one of the things I really want to talk about is that trilogies are very hard to do. Because there's so many times where I like see a trilogy where I love the first two movies and then the third movie comes out and it was terrible or disappointing, like the Blade trilogy, original X-Men trilogy, the original Spider-Man trilogy, the Terminator trilogy, all examples of franchises where I love the first two movies and the third movie ends up sucking. Personally, for me. And then you have like other ones where it's like I like the Dark Knight trilogy where I like Dark Knight Rises, but it's one of the better third movies, but it's still not great and not as good as the first two Batman movies with Christopher Nolan for me. So even though I enjoyed it, I still was a little bit disappointed in that movie. Or like X-Men Apocalypse, where I love X-Men First Class, I love X-Men Days of Future Past, and then I ended up feeling just kind of with X-Men Apocalypse like it was okay, it wasn't bad, but as I entered that trilogy, it was like disappointing. So I can definitely understand the actor saying like how it would be hard to live up to those first two because they've been so well received and did so well. And I definitely think it will be. I think trilogies are like hardest thing to get down because, like I said, there's plenty of examples of just trilogies where they start great the first two movies and then they end in kind of like a terrible or just okay ending to a trilogy. So I really hope Beyond the Spider-Verse ends up being great as the first two, so this could be one of those great trilogies that I love. But I definitely understand the actor saying that because, like I said, trilogies are just very hard to stick to landing. Next thing I want to discuss is Blue Beetle is projected to open to 30 now. I'm happy to see that the projections have gone up from like the 12 to 20 area. I still think, even though this movie only costs 120, I think this movie's gonna need to really do well internationally, and I really either that, or I hope it blows past the projections and it makes a lot more than what it's projecting to make right now. Like I'm happy the projections have gone up, and I'm hoping this ends up being a great movie where it has a really good word of mouth and it maybe helps carry it to have legs. But it's definitely, I do think you need to right now Blue Beetle. I think it needs to either blow past the opening projections or it needs to have really good international numbers. And I think it also needs to, and it needs to also have legs. I hope this movie ends up being great, so it can have legs at the box office, and the word of mouth will kind of help, get people to go see it if it ends up turning to be a really great movie. Yeah, I'm happy to see the projections going up, but I'm still a little worried about this movie doing well. The next thing I want to talk about is the director of the original Exorcist movie has passed away. I think he was about to turn 88. This sucks to hear. The original Exorcist is one of my favorite horror movies. I love that movie. I will admit one thing. I checked out his filmography. I haven't seen any of his other movies, so I only really know the only movie I know of his that he directed that I've seen is the original Exorcist. So I don't really recognize any of his other movies. But it's just sad to hear this. My prayers definitely go out to his family and anybody close to him. What that's just obviously is an iconic horror movie. It's one of my favorite horror movies, and it still is the best possession type of movie. And I'm excited for the sequel. So my prayers definitely go out to his family and everybody. Until next time, movie fans.